Boom! We are live. Today we got some really good stuff. We're going to be talking about game, frame, and the current dating marketplace. As a single guy currently out here dating, living this bachelor lifestyle, I've gotten to really see what it's been like to be single and also being taken. I've been in a couple relationships in my life. The last relationship that I was in, it was a long-term relationship. It was around like I would say 4 to 5 years. And it was a great relationship. But I've seen two sides of the coin when it comes to dating, being single and also being in a relationship, dating long term. So I came across a really good video on YouTube by this younger guy, man. His name is Jack Fitzy, and I think he's based out of the UK. Shout out to him and his channel. And he is basically breaking down the different pills that are in the dating marketplace. So he's talking about like the different pills. Hey, what's up? Close the arc. Shout out, man. How you doing, bro? Where are you located, man? Yeah. So he's always talking about like the different pills, and he kind of gives a quick breakdown of what his perspective is of the different pills. But it's interesting to see this video because like he reminds me a lot of myself when I was his age, when I was around like 22, 21, and I had the same mindset that he had. So it's very interesting. It's very cool, man. Hey man, whenever you're ready to come to Colombia, man, just shoot me a DM and we can link up. We can go check out Medellin, or Medellin is pretty nice. So I think you'll like it. But and it's cool, like being American, we can go together. I'll show you kind of like the cool spots. But today in today's video, we're just gonna be talking about these different pills and do a quick reaction video to what he talks about the different pills and kind of my perspective of what I've seen also like dating, being a bachelor, and also being in long-term relationships. We're gonna really break it down and see we're gonna see what's going on. Yeah, man, it's a big perk. If you're bilingual, it's a big perk. My boy closed the arc. He just mentioned that if you're bilingual, if you come to South America or any Latin American country, it's very beneficial because it makes it just easier. You can communicate with the people. You can see, like, whenever you're driving, you can really quickly distinguish like kilometers with miles. So it just makes everything a lot more convenient. Even if you have like, I would say like 20 to 40% of fluent Spanish, you're good to go. A lot of times, like I get confused because a lot of the different dialects that there is in Spanish in Latin America are different. So there's certain words that I kind of get confused whenever I'm talking to Colombians or like Hondurans, Central Americans. So Google Translate can always come in handy. Just bust that out. You can easily just jump in there and see what's going on. Easily translate anything to English. But that's awesome, man. That's awesome that you live in Spain. I've been wanting to go to Madrid. I heard Madrid is really nice. That's probably like the next go-to when I hit up Europe. I'll probably shoot you a DM when I get over there. But jumping back to the video, this video here, like I really like his breakdown. Again, quick shout out to him, Jack Frisbee. I'm gonna go ahead and start presenting my screen so you can take a look at this video. We'll do a quick reaction. Also, on the comments, drop down your thoughts, see what you think. Let's see what's going on here. So let me go ahead and start presenting. We'll go ahead and share this video here. And I think he's based out of the UK. But shout out to Jack Fitzy here. Make sure to sub to his channel. Like, I really like the content that he had, and I'll probably shoot him a DM after I create this video. Maybe we can collaborate and do a video together in the future, maybe on this topic. But I really like his breakdown of the blue pill and the red pill, black pill, and the purple pill. So let's go ahead and jump in here and start the video.
What are the different pills? By the end of this video, you will find out. I'll explain to you what they are later on, bro. But for now, chances are, if you're watching this video, you are blue-pilled. And the reason I know that is because I used to be blue-pilled. And the reason I know I used to be blue-pilled is because when I think back to the relationship I had when I was year 8, so that's either 12 or 13 years old if you don't live in the UK. The reason I said relationship is because when you're that young, I don't really count it because it's not a proper relationship. However, that relationship was pretty much run by her. She was the more dominant one within the relationship, and I was almost the one chasing her. If she wanted to do something and I didn't, tough it happened. If she didn't, but I did, tough it didn't. If I said something that she didn't agree with, I was in the wrong. If she said something that I didn't agree with, I was also in the wrong. Now, that might have something to do with the fact that typically girls hit puberty before boys do, so they are the more dominant one within the relationships. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that I was definitely blue-pilled because the relationship was run by her. I was very feminine within the relationship, and she was very masculine within the relationship. And personally, I think that's wrong. I don't think that's how it should be. I think the man should be masculine and chasing his purpose and progression, and the female, the woman, should be more feminine and chasing him. He thinks more logically, she thinks more emotionally.
All right, so a quick breakdown here. So he mentioned that he was around like 12 or 13 when he first got into his relationship with his first ever girlfriend. And he says that at that point that he was blue pilled. And to be honest, I think we're all blue pilled at that age. I think when you're 12, 13, you don't really understand women, girls that well. And you're just kind of going off of what you learned by your parents. Treat a girl nicely, be polite, don't say anything, don't be mean to girls. And like he mentioned, like he got into this relationship and he went in with that mindset of like putting his girl on a pedestal and just kind of like listening to whatever she would had to say about any situation. So he realized he's looking at it now in hindsight. I think at this point he's probably like 18, 19. He looks pretty young, maybe in his early 20s. But he's looking at it in hindsight and he's realizing that like that's not the way to go. And he's still a very young guy. Like this guy, he's barely starting when it comes to dating, man. Like as you go through your 20s, you go into your early 30s, you start to see different layers to the game. You really start to see how women think, how you think as well, how you mature as a man, and you start to see relationships in a different way. Because when like the version that I was when I was 15 compared to the version that I was when I was 20 to 25 to 30 is completely different person. And I think that we're all in that same position, but you do evolve as you date women, as you start to see the different ways that they behave, the ways that you behave in a relationship as well. You start to really understand it. And like I just wanted to highlight that like he has that blue pill programming that we all have as men when you're at that age. So it's something natural that you're just gonna go through when you're younger.
And the reason I now think that was wrong is because I'm comparing that to the relationship I am currently in. And the relationship I am currently in is the complete and utter opposite. Of course, we both get an opinion on things, and if she thinks something should be done one way, I'm more than happy to listen. I don't just ignore her. However, like I have said, and like she has said, we've both agreed about this. I, as the man, get the final say. For example, if we're planning a date that we want to go on, she will give her suggestions. I will, of course, listen. I'll take them into account. But at the end of the day, if there's two choices, I will pick. The final choice will be up to me. And I just want to reiterate the fact that that is acknowledged by both of us. She said that's how she wants it to be and how it should be. And I also said the same. So a relationship like that only works if both of you want it. You shouldn't force your partner into anything ever. So with the first example where you're blue pilled and you're submissive and she is in charge, if that sounds appealing to you, you don't really need to watch this video. Just carry on getting conditioned and you're fine. But if that second example sounds more appealing to you, and you want the style of relationship where you are the man in charge, stick around to the end of this video because you will learn the key mindset you must have to be able to have a relationship like that. Before we start, my name's Jack. If you
All right, so before we continue on, so I want to mention one thing here is that I've seen like these different philosophies come to fruition from the beginning. So I saw when they came with the red pill, they came with the blue pill, they came with the black pill, and then all these different ones that are currently out there. But a lot of this came from the school of thought of Rollo Tomasi, which he wrote a book called The Rational Male, and in that book he really gave the praxeology of the red pill. So he kind of broke it down. I think it's a great book. I highly recommend for you to read it. It's a hard book to digest because of the content, the how straightforward the content is. When you first finish that book, it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow. But I think it's very beneficial for you to just read it with an open mind, understand kind of where the author's coming from, and then let it like really digest it. Let some time pass for you to really soak in what the author's trying to portray throughout the book. And I think that it's a very powerful book, and it's gonna make you really change. It's gonna really change your perspective of the dating marketplace for sure. So one thing he mentioned also is that with his current relationship, again, I think he's in his early 20s, maybe late teens, but in his current relationship, he's kind of like setting the frame where he has the last say in his relationship. He has the last say of what gets decided between him and his girlfriend. And I think that is the way that it has to be, because it's always kind of been like that, right? Like you have a partner, you have your girlfriend, your wife, and you're deciding what's the best thing for your family. As a man, it's best that you develop the leadership skills to make those decisions when it's necessary, because it's just going to garner more respect from your woman. You're just going to come from a better position of confidence that when it comes to the moment, you can actually make a decision and take both of your lives in the best direction. So the only caveat to what I see from this young man is that, like, since he's still very young, he hasn't he still needs to develop a little bit more, like, the calluses of being in a relationship, because right now I'm not sure how far along he is in his relationship, and I'm not going to go into any personal route here with this video. But what I've seen in my lifetime is that a relationship evolves as the months progress. So when you first start dating someone, it's not going to be the same thing as when you start dating them your second year, your third year, or your fourth year. It's going to change. There's going to be certain things that are going to change in your life, in her life. Either she goes to a different college, either she studies something differently. You start to follow your own passion, like he was mentioning that he was starting to follow his own passion. He wants to become like the best version of himself. He wants to live a life of purpose, which is the best thing. Like, he, for his age, he's a smart, very smart, bright young man, because that is exactly what every man should be aspiring to do. They should be aspiring to follow their own purpose and listen to that intuition that you hear when you're by yourself, when you're in the woods, when you're in nature. There's a calling. I think it's God personally, but there's a calling that's letting you know that you're meant for something greater, and that's your purpose. That's where you need to really focus down and double down, whatever it is in your life. It could be you're an engineer, you're an artist, you're a musician, you are a video creator. Whatever you like to do, you really want to start focusing on that purpose, because especially when you're young, like this young man, at this point, like, he's in he has that tiger blood right now, man. Like, this is the age where you're just pumping with fire. There's fucking fire in your testosterone. You're just ready to go, and you're ready to conquer the fucking world. And he's at that point. So I always, in my channel, there's been a lot of videos that I mentioned this in previous videos here on my channel, but I always say that I don't think it's beneficial for young guys to get into long-term relationships, because when they start getting into long-term relationships, it makes it a lot more difficult to really listen to that inner voice that we just mentioned, the inner conscious, your purpose, because now you're not living for yourself anymore. Now you're living for another person. You're listening to what they want, their desires, what's their aspirations, and now it's pulling you. Even though you might consciously believe that you're still on your purpose, you're still on that mission, you're still unconsciously getting pulled away from it. And this might be a hard pill to swallow for some women because women, the last thing they want to hear is that that they're a distraction to your purpose or to your mission. But it's just like I have cousins, girl cousins. I have a lot of aunts that I love to death, and whenever I say these key points, it's because of the male perspective. This is really the perspective of a man that's trying to become the best version of himself. So at the end of the day, it's like you do have to follow that purpose when you're in your early 20s. So I think that in his relationship, he still might face some adversity there whenever those tough situations come up, those difficult conversations of someone's moving away. This thing happened. She texted a guy on accident. He texted a girl on accident. She sees his DM, something happens, then that's when like the testing of the relationship is going to start to happen. And when you get to that point, that's when you have to have frame as a man. Frame is a part of the game that is often overlooked. Frame is your self-worth, your self-love. What are your boundaries? What are the different ideologies that you will live and die by? That's your frame as a man, and you always have to protect that frame because that's your core essence. So there are going to be times when women challenge that essence. They're going to challenge your frame, and that's when you have to stand up to those shit tests. And it's perfectly fine, man. Like when it comes to shit tests, women will always shit test you. It's perfectly fine, especially if she likes you. Like a shit test is part of the game. And if you don't know what that means, all that means is that when she let me see if I can think of a good example. Let's say, for example, like you check out a girl for a second or 2 seconds, and then she calls you out on it in that moment. She's like, well, why are you checking out that girl? I thought, like I'm right here and you're checking out this girl. But you might have done it for like a millisecond. That's that's kind of like an example of a shit test. So when that happens, it's actually a good thing because she's showing that she likes you. She's showing that she cares about what you are attracted to. She wants you to be attracted to her. So there are going to be moments that happens. And like funny enough, man, like I just finished sparring right now, like an hour ago. I've been doing a lot of boxing sparring lately, and it's kind of like when you're sparring, it's like those little jabs that you're gonna get hit by. But once you know how to move, once you know how to feint, you know how to parry, you know how to roll a punch, you get used to it, and you know when it's like a legitimate test, or when it's just like, okay, it's just like, she just loves you. It's just part of dating. It's just part of the game. So I think that he's still gonna face a little bit more opposition, a little bit more adversity as his relationship progresses. And I'm curious to see how that happens in the future. So, like, if Jack, if you're watching this, we should collab in the future, talk about this. I'm curious to see as your philosophy, how it's going to evolve through your dating experience. So let's go ahead and jump back to the video. See where we left.
If you want to see some more videos from an 18-year-old who's just trying to help people, click the subscribe button right now. To summarize it super quickly for you, bro, the different pills are different dating and sexual strategies for men. Now, men and women both have their optimal dating strategy. For women, it's to get impregnated by the man with the best genes and the most resources, so those very primal desires, the strongest, the fastest, the healthiest, with the most money, food, security, so with the most resources and best genes, like I said, and then to raise that kid, to bring the kid up with that alpha male with those good genes. And before I say the optimum dating strategy for men, I'm not saying I endorse this. However, it is almost like a primal desire as a man's most preferred sexual strategy to impregnate as many different women as possible. This is so he can pass on his genes.
All right, man. So this part here, like we really have to break this down. This is gonna get really good here because like I've seen women at different points. I've seen when they're younger, 18 to 24, to when they're 24 to maybe 35. And he's kind of overgeneralizing a lot of girls. He's saying he mentioned here that a lot of girls are looking for guys that have resources, that have security, that they offer like protection. And that is true to some degree, but it's not always the truth with most girls because you can be bro. Like when I was when I was a broke college student, bro, that's probably like when I had the best luck with girls. And I was fucking broke, man. Like I had a cheap ass Nissan 2000, I think it was an Altima, bro. Like one rim was falling off. Man, like and those moments were probably the best for my dating experience because it was like I was young, they were having fun. Like there's another really good book that I want to mention here, and it's called Rollo Tomasi's Preventive Medicine. And all of Rollo Tomasi's books are spot on, man. Like even if you don't agree with everything that he says, he does mention a lot of great things. And I want to pull up this book so I can quickly show you how like a quick breakdown on this book. So in this book here, I think this is the second book in his series. Let me go ahead and scroll this down here. So let me share my screen. Let's pull up the whiteboard. And let's pull up. All right. So we'll stop sharing here. And let's pull this screen. I think it should be this one. All right. Present. Share screen. So he has this book here, The Irrational Male Preventive Medicine. And in this book, he breaks down like women's dating strategies or like their mindset of dating from a very young age until they're like 40, 50, 60, man. And to be honest, like I kind of forgot about that part because I'm not really going for like a 56-year-old woman, but he like the key takeaways from this book is seeing like the mindset of women when they're in their late 20s and their late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, and early 30s. And bro, like it just changes completely. Like we mentioned this earlier, like as also as us as men, we evolve through time. Our mindset changes, and the same thing goes for women. So a lot of the times, man, you don't even have to be you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have resources to get beautiful women. You just have to. I think the biggest things that you do have to have in place is that you have to be attractive. You have to actually like dress well, be in shape. Whether like usually a good range is to be below 15% body fat. If you have some abs showing, that's even better. You got some muscles going. You know how to dress. You smell good. As long as you have those things checked off, younger girls will usually fall for you. Like they won't fall for you, but they'll like you. They'll just be more attracted to you. And now, depending on how your game a lot of times is how you communicate. Like the it would be the emotional intelligence that comes with talking to women. If you actually have empathy, if you know how to carry a conversation with a woman, if you know how to really pick apart like certain little things in a conversation and escalate that relationship further. That's really what game is in essence. If you have those like verbal skills, those body language skills. But a lot of girls when they're younger, they don't really like they're just trying to have fun, man. Like a lot of girls when they're like I would say below 22, a lot of girls are just trying to have a good time. They're trying to have fun. If they meet an attractive guy that's in shape, that looks good, they'll be happy to be in a relationship with them. And like my boy Jack here, like he's an attractive young guy, man. Like he got his chain going, he got his hat. Let me see if I can pull up let me pull up the video. But my boy Jack here is looking good, man. Shout out to him, shout out to his channel. But check him out, bro. Like he's a young, like he's 18, like he's about to go into his prime too, man. And like a lot of girls are attracted to his archetype because they're like he's young, he's barely getting started. He has some little bit of sauce, you know, like the way he's dressed, his hat, like he has the red lights in the bag, like your boy, and like he's doing this thing, man. And he's 18, he's already making videos, bro. Like he has 242 subscribers, but when I was his age, bro, like I didn't have any subscribers. I don't even think I had the confidence to start a YouTube video. So like he's far ahead when it comes to video creation, farther along than I am. So he's doing this thing, and this is just to show like girls are attracted to young guys like this. Like it doesn't matter if they have money or not. It doesn't matter if they're like loaded with cash and assets in the bank, and you know all that shit goes out the window when it comes to younger girls. Now, when we start going into older girls, like when you start going into, I would say like 24 to 27. And then and Rollo Tomasi mentions this perfectly in the book. So, guys, I highly recommend for you to read that book. He'll cover a lot more thoroughly than I can in this video. But when they start going into 24, 28, that's when they start to look for something a little bit more serious, because we all have a clock, bro. Like we all have a clock when it comes to being at that highest optimal version of ourselves. The difference is that for men, that clock comes later. It comes way after your mid 20s. It comes around like my age when you start getting into your late 20s and your early 30s. You start to really develop as a man because now you're being optimized across the board. You know how to dress, you have game, you have body language skills, you know how to talk, you have money in the bank, you're starting to make more money, you're developing those higher level skills, and the game starts to change dramatically in your late 20s if you are handling your shit like my boy Jack is here. You know, if you're handling your shit, like the game just starts to change a lot. You see a big difference when you're dating in your late 20s compared to your early 20s. Like I mentioned, in my early 20s, I was fucking broke, bro. Like I was a broke ass college student, barely making enough to get through the week. And now, like I'm in a position where I'm comfortable right now financially. I'm comfortable like where I am physically, where I'm currently at in this point in my life. I'm comfortable. I feel good. I know there's still so much more that I want to accomplish, but I'm at a good position, and I can see the difference. It's night and day difference of how women treat me and the way also that I can approach women, and it's a lot easier to make a conversation just flow smoothly. So it starts to really change when in their mid 20s because like their clock is shorter. And I just got to mention this, but for women, it's like it comes very fast for them. Like it's like boom, they're beautiful at a very young age. Like my parents, they got married when my dad was, I think he was 19 and my mom was 17. But granted, my parents lived in Mexico in like the 1980s, and like back then, you know, it was a different time. People just got married a lot younger, and but it's just like women when they're young, from like 17, like 18 to 23, like they're very beautiful. Like it just hits them very quick, and they get hit with so much attention from all these different guys. So it's very difficult to understand like when it's beneficial for them to get into one relationship or another relationship, because I don't unless they have a strong father figure, a guy that's actually been through the ropes and understands the dating marketplace. They don't have the same guidance that a man that does at that age. Like it's just a little different. Like for them, it's just they're hit with so much attention. If they don't have that strong father figure in the house, it makes it like, man, like all these guys are giving me this attention. I can go with this guy, I can go with that guy, and you know, from there you go into a rabbit hole. What can happen? But as women get older, like they start to really feel it. Like they start to feel that like their clock is going down. And the biggest thing when it comes to the clock is that you can only have kids at a certain age range. Like it gets more difficult the older a woman gets. So they just naturally biologically feel that. When they start to feel that it's like getting time to have kids. Like they should start having kids or thinking about entertaining the idea of having kids. They start to feel it, even though they might not comprehend what's going on, but they start to feel it. So now what happens is that like they go through that phase where they're just attracted to like the hottest guy that they see. And then they go into this phase where it's like, okay, I need something serious. I need to find a guy that is going to be with me for the rest of my life. I need to find a guy that's going to take care of me. I need some resources, like my boy Jack was mentioning. Now, at that point, that's when it starts to come into play, where they start to consider all these different factors that are very important when it comes to dating. Like if I had a daughter, man, I would really mention that to her. I would really like let her really understand that she needs to look at these things from the beginning, not from after 22, not after 23, after a lot of poor decisions have been made. You know, like you need to really start considering this from the very beginning. What's the best potential mate that you can have? Because it's a very different game, man. Like it is a double standard to some extent, because men, we don't have to have the vulnerability of getting pregnant, meaning that we can't work for like 6 months. After that third month period, like we can still, you know, as men, we can still work. We can do whatever we want. You know, we can still keep operating, but women have more risk when it comes to childbirth. So that's just one thing. This is some food for thought for the ladies, man, because I'm not even sure that a lot of girls watch my channel. I think a couple do, but if there are ladies watching this, like that's just one thing that you really have to consider. You have to be smart when it comes to this game, because it's the same thing with men and women. Like we just have different obstacles that are in front of us, but you have to be smart on playing the game. And the reason I say this, because like I mentioned, I have girl cousins, I have a lot of aunts, I have a lot of great family members that I love them so much that I want the best for them. That whenever they're talking to a new guy or they're entertaining a new relationship, I want them to make the best decisions as well. So with my boy Jack here, like he mentions, he makes a lot of great points. Let's go ahead and jump back to his video. But before that, well, last point here is that as women get to that 30 mark and then they get to that early 30 mark, now, bro, like the clock is ticking, bro. Like this, the shot clock. You got 12 seconds left on the buzzer, and you got to make that 3-pointer to win the game, man, because like it's the last inning, bro. Like it's going to get a lot more difficult at that point to find someone that a woman would like, that like they're like highly attracted to, and that has all those different resources across the board checked off. Resources, looks good, has money, can talk, can dance, can do like all these different skills that takes time as a man to develop. So yeah, man, that's like final 12 seconds on the buzzer. You got to make that shot, and it just gets a lot more difficult. But the another thing that you'll notice is that as you start dating, is that like women start to have higher criteria for dating them, but it's like then now there's younger girls that are coming into the dating marketplace, and now you're at a position up here where like the younger girls are attracted to you. It's not even that you are attracted, that you want to be talking to all these younger girls. It's that like younger girls are just attracted to you now at this point. Like they want to be in your sphere. They want to be in your life. So like the game just completely changes, bro. It's like a fucking 360 that happens when you get to your late 30s, because then you start to see how the dating market has changed for both sexes. You see how it's affected some of your friends. Like I have some friends that I went to college with, and to college and to high school with, and a lot of them are married, bro. Like, and they used to be hot, bro. Like when I was in high school, I used to be like, damn, this girl was the finest girl in high school. And now I'm like, fuck, dude, like what happened? You know, like life happened, things changed, and now there's like these 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds that are like really sexy, and they're attracted to you. So now like the whole game just fucking completely changes. But let's go ahead and jump back into my boy Jack's video and let's see where we left off here.
And have as many offspring as possible. You can imagine the type of like Genghis Khan, for example, sleeping with thousands of women. That was very primal. That was very red-pilled. And along the way, he probably would have murdered a load of people and probably even raped some women. That was his dating and sexual strategy. However, in the modern day, of course, we're not going to go around killing and raping people because that's just wrong. So there are 4 dating strategies for men: the red pill, the blue pill, the black pill, and the purple pill. Now, before I break them down, what they actually are, I just want to go on a bit of a rant and tell you why you're blue pilled. Do you remember at the beginning, I just told you about how I believe we're all blue pilled, and I used to be. Why do you think?
All right, so really quick here, he mentioned Genghis Khan, and he makes a really good point there, because there's another great book by Ron Holiday called "Ego is the Enemy," where he mentions that how Genghis Khan was able to conquer so much of Asia, and how he was arguably one of the best conquerors that ever stepped on this fucking planet, because he was a very intelligent military commander. He knew how to enter different cities, but he was very creative, because he didn't just go into cities to destroy them completely. He wasn't like a barbarian, where a lot of people here in the West think that he was just like going through villages and pillaging them. He was destroying all the villages that were garbage, like they didn't have anything to offer. But the villages that had actually some substance, that had some culture, art, he was indoctrinating them into his empire. So he was a very smart, very, very smart emperor. And but what he's saying there is like, Genghis Khan, since he had so much power, so much influence, he can kill anyone that he wanted. He was a commander of armies. Like, he could have any woman that he wants, because what's the alternative if you don't go with Genghis Khan? The alternative is that you're probably gonna die. And it's funny because like I was recently seeing a documentary of Pancho Villa, and he was like a bandit in Mexico. A lot of Mexicans, a lot of farmers, and a lot of like middle class and lower class Mexicans like Pancho Villa, because he stood up for like the little guy in Mexico during that time of the Mexican Revolution. But a lot of like the higher class hate Pancho Villa, because he would steal. Like, they said that he was the Mexican Robin Hood, where he would steal from the rich and he would give it to the poor. So like, there's a lot of controversy based off of Pancho Villa. But what I wanted to highlight with Pancho Villa is that he would also do the same thing. Like, he would go into different villages in Mexico. They call them ranchos. And he would go through these different pueblos, ranchos. And if he found a woman that he liked, like, he would actually like kidnap her, impregnate her, and then he would just leave her there and continue on his missions, man. And this is like this is the dark side of the red pill, is that like there has been men like this throughout history, and it's just something to be aware of. I don't think that's any, like, I would never condone for anyone to operate like that, but it's just something that I think a lot of men have been, not a lot of men, but there's certain men that have been wired like that throughout history. And that's the dark side of male nature, where these guys can, they can go into different villages and they can do whatever they want at that point. But at this point now, where we're at in 2024, like, that's most likely not going to happen. In some cases that might happen, but that's just a really good point how he mentioned Genghis Khan, because it's been seen through a lot of different societies and cultures. So I really like that, and we just need to highlight that right now. But let's go ahead and jump back to this video.
I think that is. I want you to take some time right now to really think, why are we blue pills? And you probably won't know. You can probably imagine a plot of a film where you've got the main character who is obsessed with and has a crush on a girl. But that girl doesn't like him back, does she? No, she likes the jock. If it's American film, the Chad, the alpha male, the guy with the best genes, the primal desire. I tell you this, bro, and this is where it will start to all make sense. The guy that she wants is red pilled. And the main character who doesn't have the girl that he wants is blue pilled. So you might now be thinking, well, Jack, why are we all getting conditioned if the red pill guy gets what he wants? Because by the end of the film, what happens? The blue pill, the nerd, gets the girl. He obsesses over her enough. He's a nice guy. He tries to be her friend. He writes her cute love notes, buys her loads of flowers without anything in return. And he gets her. And throughout all of the film, or all the series, or all the book, or whatever it might be, the red pill, alpha male, the guy that she is into, their relationship is painted out as toxic. Like it's wrong. But at the end of the day, he is stronger, fitter, and more primally desirable than the main character. So she wants him. And he wants to primally impregnate her. And so he wants her. So primarily.
All right, so we have to break down a lot of things that he just said right here, because I think he's getting confused a little bit with natural athletic genetics with these different pills, like the red pill and the blue pill, because there's a lot of guys that are blue pilled. They have the mindset of being blue pilled, but they're fucking shredded. They're in shape. Maybe they can even fight. They're MMA fighters. And then there's fucking guys that are out of shape, that they're not at this optimal level that he's mentioning of being sexually attractive, where they're red pilled. So it's like the red pill, all these pills, they're praxeologies. They're ideologies of how you see the dating marketplace. And I think that it takes time to develop it, because like he was referencing is like when you're younger, you just automatically get indoctrinated into being blue pilled. A lot of it has to do because of the media. A lot of it has to do because our parents were blue pilled as well. Like that's kind of what they were taught. But the thing is that society is changing so much. Like we're going into a different future. And what happens is that as a byproduct, the dating marketplace also evolves. Back then, when my parents when they were dating, there was no fucking Instagram, there was no Snapchat, there was no Tinder, no Bumble. So at that point, like they were just going off of face value, whatever they saw in front of them. Like they actually had to have, and to some extent, bro, like I think that was actually the way that dating was supposed to be. That's the way that when we talk about courting, when we talk about dating, like that was the way that it was supposed to be from the beginning. Like, because that's how we biologically are programmed to court a woman that you like, you have kids with her, you try to start a family, you start an entire legacy. I think that's the way that we're all just naturally programmed. But it's just like things have just changed so much with technology, with how fucking degenerate our society has gotten, that you have to be very conscious and aware of what's going on. These pills, these different ideologies, they all come from the Matrix. So in the Matrix, if you all seen the Matrix, if you haven't, jump into YouTube and see what's going on. But he's basically presenting with the blue pill and the red pill. He says if you take the red pill, you're gonna see the reality of the world. If you take the blue pill, you're gonna live in Wonderland, and you're just gonna be living in this existence where this is how it is. And one thing that I've noticed is that like we're just all naturally blue pilled. You have to actually make the effort to get the knowledge to actually understand these different praxeologies, these different pills. And then once you get to that point, you can make better decisions on dating. So it's not like he's mentioning, it's not just the blue pill. It's not just like the physical attributes. It's also the mentality, what's coming with the mentality. And I think it takes time to really develop a mindset that understands every single pill and tries to really optimize the best pill for your dating strategy with your relationships. So let's go ahead and continue the video. Let's see what's going on here.
They both want each other. And even though it's painted out to be toxic and misogynist and wrong and whatever else, they both want each other, and they both have each other. But it's all right, because at the end of the film, the blue pill, the soft nerd, I suppose, gets the girl. So we should all be like that, shouldn't we? And another reason why you're probably blue pilled is because of all the people, I'm not just going to say girls, there's probably boys as well, over TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, whatever it might be, who make videos saying girls just want a nice guy. You know what? Some of them probably do. Some girls probably would like a nice guy. I'll tell you what, those girls are typically and probably more masculine. Because if they want a nice guy to submit to her and be there for her, he's going to be more feminine, so she has to be more masculine. And as ambitious, masculine young men trying to improve ourselves and trying to get better at life, we don't want masculine women. We want feminine women. Because if we're trying to get our masculinity all the way up here, hers has to be down here. You can't have two extremely masculine people within a relationship because it doesn't work. The masculinity and femininity have to balance each other out. But that's no diss to those women who want nice guys, to the masculine women. You know what? It might be the higher quality women who want the nice guys. But then again, it might also be the degenerate party girls. I don't know. So I'm not going to comment on that. I'm just making sure I'm not insulting them. Because if that's what they want, they can go for it. But the issue with it comes when some of them say all girls want a nice guy. Because that's not true. You might be thinking, why is it not true? Do you really think the girl who makes that video saying they all want a nice guy?
All right, man. So like for sure, like girls don't want a nice guy. Like they want a guy that treats them well, but they like guys. Well, most girls like guys that are confident, that they're assertive, that they know what they want. It's not that they like nice guys. This narrative that he's saying is it is a lot of younger guys that are indoctrinated to think like that, because I was in the same position, so I know that that's what women like, but that's not the case. And you learn the hard way. What happens is that you get into a relationship, you might get your heart broken, and that's when you learn the hard way that that's not what girls like. And then you start to change your game a little bit. You start to realize what works and what doesn't work. And then you start to realize that girls got like a guy that's confident, that takes care of himself. He hits the gym. He knows what he's doing. He looks physically attractive. He has a good head on his shoulders. He has a mission. He has a purpose. You know, there's a lot of different attributes that girls like, but they're always going to give you like that soft answer, bro. Like that's why it's very difficult to take a dating advice from a woman, because they don't understand the male perspective. They understand their perspective and they understand like what they want, but they never lived in the guy's perspective, so they can't really comment on it as much. Like they can kind of, they give their perspective, but it's not the same when the guy has actually lived it. He's been through the trenches. He has the battle scars. He can actually talk about it. It's a completely different perspective. And so, yeah, I think that's one thing that we just got to highlight there, is that girls don't like nice guys. They like a guy that's assertive, confident, and that he's ambitious. He wants to accomplish his goals and just level himself up as much as possible. So as a byproduct, he can level up his family as well.
Do you really think she's sleeping with the nice guy? No, of course she isn't. She's sleeping with the guy who meets up with her to sleep with her and then doesn't message her again until he wants to sleep with her again. That's who she's sleeping with, not the guy who's always there for her. Right, rant over. What are the different pills? We're finally here now, bro.
So one last thing here is that he's mentioning like the bad boy archetype to the good guy archetype, and the biggest thing to highlight here is that a bad boy stimulates emotions that a nice guy cannot stimulate. So a bad boy will say what's on his mind. He's not afraid to hurt a girl's feelings. Even though he might be coming at a place out of love, like he'll still like stimulate those emotions. It's like an emotional roller coaster with him. Like one day he's over here doing this thing, then one day he's over here at this party, and then one day he's over here doing some crazy shit over here. And then there's the nice guy. We compare him to the nice guy, and the nice guy is just like, it's just the same thing, bro. It's like it's boring. Like he's just at home. He's just chilling, like, hey, how you doing, beautiful? Boom, boom. Like just a very warm, lukewarm conversation, very lukewarm energy. When then the nice guy is fucking like spiking everything, man. He's a fucking roller coaster. One day he's over here, then he's over here, and then he's over here. So that's the difference of the mindsets between the nice guy and the bad boy. When it comes to girls are more emotionally attractive to guys like that. Like it's like I said, it's a double standard, because guys don't feel the same way. Like maybe some guys, maybe some like simp guys, but you don't want to be in a position where you're being in this emotional roller coaster with your girl, because one, you don't got the time for that. You don't got the energy, the attention. You got to focus on you maximizing your purpose, your mission, making that money, leveling up your skills, getting to a higher point in your life, instead of focusing on these like overly emotional girls that are just going to be putting you in there's gonna be this whole fucking headache. So that's the differences there between the nice guy and the bad boy. And that's one thing that you have to know, because you will start to learn. You either learn the right way, where you start to implement this, where you control the frame of a relationship, or you're gonna get heartbroken. And getting heartbroken is part of the game, because then you start to really understand your flaws. It's like, again, I'm gonna mention it's a boxing, because like it's funny, because like fighting, combat sports, they're so relevant to real life. But in boxing, there's gonna be some times that you're gonna get your ass whooped, man. Like there's gonna be some times that you're gonna get jabbed up, you're gonna get hit with this new fucking move that you've never seen in your life, this fucking hook, and then the right cross, and then you're just too late for it, and you get hit with that shot. The same thing applies in life, and especially in dating. When you start to date, it's like there's gonna be some times you're gonna get fucking hit hard, man, because you weren't prepared. You weren't prepared at that point. But it's taking those shots. It's having the risk, like taking the risk of getting on the ring, talking to women, being in relationships, understanding the process, understanding the game, and then making the adjustments and coming back stronger the next time around. You'll notice this when you're fighting, or any sport. You start to get your ass pieced up, and then the next day you're like, damn, I should have done it this way. Maybe I should have moved this way. Maybe if I did like a feint this way. You start to really understand like the little things, and you make the adjustments. And then the next time you're around, all right, now I'm prepared. Now I've seen this. And what ends up happening is that, like, your opposition doesn't decrease in skill. You become stronger in your skills. So you're just getting to another level, and then you start to face guys that are below than you, way below than you, and you're the guy that's piecing them up. So it just really changes, and now you're at a point where, like, man, you really understand what's going on. You understand the movements. You understand the subtleties of what's happening. You understand the feints. You understand that they're trying to come low, they're trying to go up, they're moving. You understand these little things, and you just get better. You're just going to get a lot sharper, a lot better. So the game does change dramatically as the more licks you take, the more experience that you accumulate under your belt.
Start with the blue pill. Like I've said, this is modern conditioning and modern society. I saw this in a video somewhere, and I'm just going to completely take it. If you were to sum up the blue pill mindset into a single person, it would be the man who gets with and starts dating a woman who's already got kids, and then takes those kids on as his own. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a nice thing to do. Bring those kids up with the father figure that they probably need.
So again, guys, like, so what he's saying is a cuckold. Like, that's a cuck. Like, that's like in Spanish, le dicen cabrón. That's the actual translation of a cuck. Es un cabrón. And a cuck, like, you don't want to be in that position. There's for a lot of different reasons that you don't want to be in that position. And a lot of women that are in that position where maybe they're single mothers, like, they'll come at you hard if you start to comment on this subject, because it's a very vulnerable position to be in as a woman. I completely understand that. But the biggest, okay, this is the only question. I'm gonna make this so simple when it comes to this topic. What do you think is better? There's two scenarios. And we're talking about you. We're talking about you as a man. We're not talking about anybody else. You got to put yourself as number one. You're the center point of your origin. You have to think about what's best in your life. You're not over here trying to take care of people, save women, save the fucking world. Like, at a certain point, you first have to take care of yourself, and you have to make decisions that are going to benefit your life, not other people's lives. Think about yourself first when it comes to anything. When it comes to your money, when it comes to dating, picking a girl that you like, is that what is best for you? That's the end of That's the main point that you need to consider. And the same thing applies to women. Like women need to think about what's best for them. That's why, like, whenever you get curved by a girl, you get rejected. Like if a girl didn't like you, man, she just didn't like you. Like it is what it is. Like maybe she had a boyfriend, maybe she had a better guy than you, and it's perfectly fine. Like it's part of the game. It's what she wanted. At the end of the day, it's like, she's doing what she wants, so it's completely fine. But the same thing applies for men. So for men, it's like, what do you want? Do you want a fresh relationship with a woman that has no kids, and you can have kids with her? You can start a beautiful family. Everything is connected together, meaning that she had your kids. Like there's that biological connection, very strong connection of family, of legacy. Or you trying to go into a relationship where a woman already had that connection with another man because she had his kid, his child, and you're trying to fit this role of being that sole provider, being that father figure in her life. Like, one, you don't have that emotional connection. You're not as connected to the children as you would be if they were your kids. And like, two, it's like, bro, like, is it like if she's at that point right now where like the father figure is nowhere to be found, it's like you got to also think about what kind of woman you're inviting into your life. Like she might be a great woman as well, like the kind of what my boy Jack here is mentioning, but it's just like you have to do that cost analysis. It's like what's just better, and obviously, like this situation is just a lot better. And that's not to offend anyone, but it's just the truth. Like it's just the honest truth. Like if you're into that kind of thing, and that's kind of what you like I'm not out here judging anyone, man. Like I'm more of the mindset of live and let live, like live your life and let other people live their lives. But it just it just doesn't make a lot of like biological sense. It doesn't make a lot of financial sense. It goes against a lot of like how we're naturally wired. And like there's a great quote from The Godfather that I want to quickly pull up here, where Michael Corleone mentions that. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull this up. He says that like it's not personal, it's only business. And bro, like I think that's one of the best mindsets to have when it comes to navigating in this dating marketplace in both sides, man, women and men. You have to really see what's more beneficial, like business wise, not, of course, this the emotional connection. I meant it more like in the literal sense where business is like it just makes sense. Like it makes sense, it makes logical sense, that's going to be a better return on investment. So let me pull up this quick quote here. So yeah, like here, Michael's like, it's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business. So it's not personal. Don't take any of this stuff personal. Don't take any of these different praxeologies personal. It's just strictly business. It's like you're trying to make logical sense of what's happening in this marketplace. And when you start taking it personal, it just starts to, it's just a downhill from there. So don't ever take any of these things personal. This is the best. I love this movie, and this is one of my favorite quotes because it's true. When you start taking things too personal, it starts to really taint the message, and it's better to look at it with that business mindset, that logical perspective. So let's go ahead and jump back to my boy Jack's video here, and we're probably gonna wrap up because I have a call shortly after this. But let's just pull this up. I really wanted to comment on this video because he was dropping a lot of great gems here.
Nice, because who knows what happens to girls with no father figures. But that is as blue pilled as you can get, because The woman's got kids. She's filled her desire. But your desire as a man to have kids and pass on your bloodline and your lineage, you're not getting to do because you're looking after somebody else's kids. I've used examples of nice guy or being their friend or just being obsessed with them, just doing everything that they want. That is typical blue pill. I'm making out blue pill to be this horrible thing that nobody wants to do, but there is one good part of it, which we'll get onto later on. And the next one is the red pill. And if you go down the path of the red pill, which a lot of people are doing, it's when you know that by...
All right, so a quick breakdown on his blue pill comments is that, yeah, like he's completely right. Like you don't want to really be in a blue pill position. There might be little parts there that they make sense, and he's gonna touch on it. But going back to legacy and going back to family and, you know, being with a woman that hasn't had kids or is not a single mother, like throughout history, man, what the whole reason that the Spaniards, the English, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese came and conquered the fucking New World was for legacy, for their family names. Like if in Mexico, man, like my family, my coat of arms, Medina, if you see the family coat of arms, like it's a fucking lion there. And it's like you're trying to pass on your genes. That's the whole fucking point of life. Like that's what all these conquerors try to do. That's what people in any profession, they're trying to pass on their legacy. So that's the our primal nature to do that. And that's why like he's spot on that, where he's saying that, you know, it's like you're trying to pass that on, and if you can't do that, like with a woman that already has kids, it's like it's going to be more difficult. Why would I go through all the risk, put all my energy, my money, attention, and time into this avenue where I can find a girl that just doesn't have all that stuff with her? So again, my boy Michael Corleone's quote, it's not personal, it's only business. Like this is just really think about it in the business mindset. If you're a business owner and you're thinking to investing into a new business, you're going to invest into assets. You're going to invest into assets that are going to give you a return on your investment. You're not going to invest into liabilities that are going to take away from your business. If you start investing into liabilities, your business might fail. So if you really look at it through that perspective of logic, of, you know, balance sheet, assets, liabilities, it's like you want to invest into assets that are going to give you a return on your investment. And if you have your own family, if you can pass on your genes, you can pass on your last name, it's going to give you the most fulfillment.
By improving yourself and getting better as yourself, you can get a higher quality and better partner. Someone on the red pill will typically try and improve their looks, their money, their game, their status. They can do that by going to the gym, by maybe building a business, so they can have more money, more status. They can go on looks maxing journeys, go to the gym, lose body fat, get in shape, learn how to flirt with girls, learn how to escalate, not just be their friend. And typically, I don't know if you've ever read them or heard about this, but when women and girls write about their like ideal sexual fantasies, it isn't this dull and like boring and like mundane type of pity sex that most relationships fall into. It's that they're getting picked up, they're getting pinned against the wall, they're getting choked, the hair's getting pulled, all of that stuff. Blue pill men don't do that. Red pill men do. So when you're older, if you've got a wife and you want to satisfy her and keep it feisty and I guess full, the relationship, you're going to have to learn how to be a little bit red pilled. You might be thinking, why do we want to do that? Because if you want the highest quality woman as your wife, you know that she's going to pick the man with the best genes. And you probably don't have the best genes because you might be skinny like me, you might be a little bit fat. So your genes aren't that good. You're going to have to go to the gym and pretend to have those good genes. So she primarily desires you. The next one is...
All right, so he mentioned a lot of great things on this part, but it's not about pretending, man. Like you really want to become that guy, and at the end of the day, it's like you don't want to become that guy for a woman. You don't want to become that guy for the world. Like you want to become that guy for yourself. As a byproduct, you will be attracting more women and more girls that you are attracted to as well. and the world is going to respect you a lot more. But at the end of the day, man, you're doing this for you, man. You're doing this for you. You're doing this for your future family. You're doing this for your legacy. Like we mentioned, this is the biggest reason why you're doing that. And he references to like the book 50 Shades of Grey, where like, you know, the guy has like resources, he's like pinning her and having like all this like rough sex with her and stuff. And girls do like that. Not all girls like that either. It's not like we're gonna put them on this general scoop where they like that kind of archetype, because there's a lot of girls that just want an average guy, man. Like they just want a guy that is going to be with them, is going to be a good family man, that treats her well. Not all girls want this fucking like highly alpha guy that's loaded, has all this money, and is maximized on every metric. A lot of girls just want a guy that's going to take care of them, you know, gets the job done with the resources, takes care of the family, and you know, the sex is good, and that's pretty much it. Like they don't need too many things. A lot of girls aren't like that. Now there is girls that do want like he says, the Chad, the Tyrone, or the Fabio, but it's not every girl that wants that. It's just like there is some girls that do like that. A lot of younger girls do like that because, like we referenced into the beginning of the video, the younger girls that, you know, they're in that lifestyle right now. Like they're going out, they're having fun. Like they're attracted to this guy because he can actually provide those experiences and he can actually do that for them. So that's why I say that like the game changes a lot when you start getting older, because you start to get maximized across the board. But yeah, so he also mentioned one more thing here that I wanted
to be a little bit red pilled. You might be thinking, why do we want to do that? Because if you want the highest quality woman as your wife, you know that she's going to pick the man with the best genes. And you probably don't have the best genes because you might be skinny like me, you might be a little bit fat. So your genes aren't that good. You're going to have to go to the gym and pretend to have those good genes. So
All right, so the reason why I gravitate a lot to the red pill is because of what he exactly said right there. He said that girls naturally, like, they gravitate to the guy that has like these things across the board. And the fact of the matter is that it's true. But it's not, again, it's not because you're trying to get girls. Like it's not like that's your whole purpose of life. It's because that's your purpose. You're following your purpose and your mission, and it just happens to be so that the red pill falls under that mentality. When you start to elevate yourself and you start to really focus on what you want, your mission, your purpose, you're driven, what happens is that you start to be fulfilled personally in your own life. And other people are just naturally perceive that. Other men will respect you more for that, and women will be more attracted to you because of that. There's a great quote by a Stoic philosopher, I believe it was Zeno, yeah, I think it was Zeno, where he says that man conquers the world by conquering himself first. And that just resonates so much, because once you really get yourself in order, you know who you are. I was recently on a podcast with my boy Ike Ukazu, shout out to him. We did a podcast a couple of days ago, but he mentioned that once you know who you are, like, things just start to get a lot easier. Things just get a lot clearer because you have a very solid vision for what you want in your life. You're on your purpose, you're on your mission, you're hitting that gym, you're pumping that heavy ass weight, you're sparring, you're out here making connections, you're networking, you're leveling up yourself, and you're just educating yourself and getting yourself to another level that a lot of men don't get to. A lot of blue-pilled men don't get to this point because they never made like that difficult exploration of going on their own on stretches of time where they had to make the sacrifices necessary to, like my boy Jack here is mentioning, to improve themselves, to be confident, to put those fucking reps in the gym. They don't take that sacrifice. They don't make that risk. So they never get to that point. They never experience what it is to be at that point. But once you start to get up to that point, it's like, it's just a lot better because you have options. And again, like my boy Michael Corleone, the Godfather, says in that quote, it's not personal, it's strictly business. And when you start to see it through that lens, it's like, you have more leverage now in business. When you have more leverage, you have more options to negotiate. And Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal, he mentioned this a lot when it comes to negotiating. There's also a really good book called The Secrets of Power Negotiating. Highly recommend that book, but it's all about leverage. Like, do you have the leverage to walk away from a deal that you don't like? Can you do you have the necessary prerequisites to perhaps pay more for that deal? When you have options, you have leverage, and you just move with a different type of confidence because you know your worth and you know how much you have to, how much you actually bring to the table. So you do start to get a little bit more picky. You do start to get a little bit more discerning when it comes to who you start to invite in your life, whether it's with your male connections or with your female attractive connections, like the girls that you're attracted to and you like, the girls that you're dating. You start to get more picky because now you start to realize that you actually are worth something. You made it to a different point. You made it to another level to the game where you're now you got some money, you got some money to play with. Girls are attracted to you. You look good. You're hitting the gym. You can fight. You're doing all these different things. You're traveling. You're actually at a different level in your life where girls are just more attracted to you, and guys just highly respect that. So with that just comes naturally that you're just a little bit more picky on who you decide to associate with. And that's perfectly natural, man, because you fucking put in the work. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to make these damn videos. Like, when you're trying to get on a live stream, you're gonna fuck up part of a live stream. When you're trying to make content, when you're over here traveling, networking, the late nights that it comes to understanding business, understanding analytics, SEO, marketing, like, it takes so much work and sacrifice that once that how much work you put in. Like, no one has to tell you how much work that you put in, and how much self-worth that you have on your mission. That once you actually get to that point, you actually make a fucking breakthrough. That now you're more picky. It's just naturally what comes with the game. Like, you got to that point. Now you're like, okay, I can pick what I want now. And bro, like, man, shout out to my boy Canelo Alvarez, one of my favorite boxers of all time, de Guadalajara, Jalisco. Shout out to my boy. Like, this past weekend, he just got in a fight. And there's been a boxer, if you're not familiar with the boxing world, his name is David Benavidez, which I also like. They call him the Mexican Monster. And David Benavidez, like, he's a fucking beast. But he's been calling out Canelo for the longest, man. Like, he's been insulting him. He's been just like barking at him. Like, hey, like, well, come fight me, like, I need this title shot. Like, I'm the next one. You're just scared. And Canelo, like, on the ring, bro, like, he just went up there like, man, like, I'm at the top of the mountain right now. Like, I'm at this point. I fought all these great fighters. I fought Floyd Mayweather, Bivol. I fought Triple G. I fought Miguel Cotto, Sugar Shane Mosley. Like, I won some of these fights and I lost some of these fights. And I'm at this point right now in my career that I make the decisions. Like, I make the choices that I want in my life. You're not going to come in here to start, like, deciding what's going to happen in my life. And that's just a good reference to the dating marketplace, because, like, if you see Canelo's trajectory of, like, his career, like, he's been through ups and lows. Like, he lost to Floyd Mayweather, then he started winning a lot of fights, then he lost to Dimitri Bivol. Then, like, it's the same thing, man. It's the game, bro. Like, there's gonna be those up and downs, but if you just stay with it, stay consistent, keep taking those licks, you're gonna get to a better spot. You're just naturally gonna get to a better spot where you elevate yourself, you elevate your skills, you elevate your money, your game, your dress game, you're hitting the gym, your body looks good. You're just gonna get to another level that now you can make decisions. Now you can actually be picky on what you want for your future. Again, this is you have to really think about yourself as a center point of origin. So when you start to think about yourself in that position, it's like, bro, like, what's best in my life? What's best for me going forward? And you just make a lot better decisions like that.
Primarily desires you. The next one, this will be super quick, is the black pill. And this is a load of fucking bullshit. If you believe in the black pill, or after I've explained that you think, oh yeah, that's right, you need to give yourself a long, hard look in the mirror. The black pillars basically believe it's all about genetics. If you have certain genetics, so a certain hair type or skin color or height or eyelid shape or whatever it might be, certain voice, frequency, pitch, I don't know. If you have something that girls don't like, you should basically give up on dating and not even try, because there's no point. They basically strip away hope from an already struggling dating market for both men and women. But the worst thing to do would be to take away that little hope that men have, which is exactly what the black pill does. And the last one, and this is personally the one that I am.
All right, so quick one there on the black pills. Like, I'm not like, to be honest, bro. Like, that's the one that I really never really cared about, because it's like I never really had that mindset. I think a lot of it comes to the mindset of the individual, and that philosophy of the black pill. Like, let me pull it up here. Like, just have good genetics is like, that's stupid, because I met some guys that have had shitty genetics and they have like the best luck with girls because they know how to talk to girls. Like, they know how to, they have those body language skills on point. They know how to communicate effectively. And then I've also met guys that are short, but they really maximize their look, where they dress very well. They hit the gym. These dudes are shredded up. They look good, and they're making the best of their situation. So it's like, just make the best out of your situation, bro. At a certain point, like, you need to stop pointing the fingers at everyone and thinking like somebody owes you some shit. Like, no one owes you anything. You need to maximize who you are as a person. Make yourself that best version of yourself. Don't think about it like you're competing with people. Think about you just maximizing yourself. When you start to maximize yourself, I promise you're just gonna live a better, fulfilled life. You're gonna feel just better about yourself because you're doing hard shit that other people don't do, and and I promise you, man, you're gonna start to get some success with the ladies. You're not going to be having this mindset of pessimism where you think that the world is all doom and gloom, because if you start having that mindset, you already lost. It's all about the mindset. Like, the mindset start, like, that's the number one thing. If you have a shitty, poor mindset and you think that you're gonna lose, what do you think is gonna happen? You're gonna lose. Like, there's no alternative. But if you have a confident mindset, if you know that you might face some adversity, there might be some girls that reject you, it's part of the game. But if you know that it's all part of it, you're gonna level up. You're just naturally going to level up. What do you think evolution is? What do you think us, like, our genes? If you're watching this video, if you're living in 2024, like, your genes got to this point. There's a lot of genes that never made it to this point either. So that's just a big thing to consider there. But I think this camera keeps timing out. I think it's because of the battery, but let's see if this thing comes back. But yeah, guys, while I do that, let's go ahead and just continue the video, see what's going on.
Market for both men and women. But the worst thing to do would be to take away that little hope that men have, which is exactly what the black pill does. And the last one, and this is personally the one that I am, is the...
Yeah, guys, so the black pill, like, that's a shitty ideology to have. I do not recommend anyone to have that mentality, because, like, if you start off with that mentality, bro, like, you're just destined for failure. So you don't have the luxury to be thinking negatively all the time. Like, bro, just get to work, surround yourself with other good guys, surround yourself with ambitious guys that are here in the gym, they're doing their thing, and they're going to force you to level up, man. And you're going to make new friends. And that quote that you always hear is that the 5 people that you surround yourself with, or just the group of guys that you surround yourself with. Like, I go to a boxing gym, there's like 20, 30 guys in there. But, bro, like, every time I go in there, man, like, we're all trying to train. We're all trying to get better. Like, put yourself in environments like that. Put yourself in environments that are going to make you grow, that you're going to have good vibes from the people that are there. Because everyone knows how difficult it is to fight. Everyone knows how difficult it is to lift weights. And the last thing I think that guys that are serious about it, that are humble about it, is like, they're not gonna try to, like, shame you for it. They're gonna welcome you they're gonna welcome you, and they're gonna want you to be part of their circle. And especially if they see that you try and you're just trying to get better, like, bro, like, they're gonna, like, whenever I see a young guy at the gym, man, I see that he's trying, like, he wants to spar me or he wants to learn something new, like, bro, like, I always admire that, man, because it's like, I was at that position too. And I just admire him for having the fucking balls, the cojones, to getting into the gym and actually training. It takes a lot of balls to do that, man. So yeah, man, you'll meet some guys that are gonna push you. They're gonna make you really reach that next level, and those are the type of guys that you want to be around. But having that pessimistic side, that pessimist mindset doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the people that are around you, and it's just going to cause a life of like misery and depression.
Purple pill. This takes an element of the red pill and an element of the blue pill, because obviously red and blue makes purple. Takes the element of the red pill from leveling up, from getting better, basically self-improvement, becoming the best version you can to attract the best partner you can. Because if you're down here in terms of value, you're not going to attract the high quality woman that we should all want. The only way you're going to attract this woman is by becoming high quality yourself. Because as we've established, the red pill, you try to become the best you can to attract the highest quality woman. But like I gave in the example before, the red pill will sleep with her and then not text her again until he wants to sleep with her again. Whereas the blue pill gets into that fulfilling, lasting relationship. So if you can take the element from the red pill and become the best version of yourself, and take the element of the blue pill of the happy relationship and mix them both together, that is what I believe is ideal, what we should all strive for. If there's anything in this video that is unclear and you want to ask me questions, stick it in the comments down below and I'll be sure to either reply to them or make another video on it at some point explaining it. Remember, bro, the results in life come from doing the things you don't want to do. I hope this helped, bro. And take care. And give me a fist bump.
Fist bump, bro. Shout out to Jack here for making this video.
And even though it's painted out,
I think he did a great job of kind of breaking it down and giving us a great layout for the video. So, Jack, if you watch this video, man, really admire the content. If you want to collaborate, let me know. I might shoot you an email and we can make a video in the future. But I think you did a great job. So shout out to him. Guys, also make sure to subscribe to his channel. Like, he has a lot of good stuff, a lot of great content. I know that he's going to get a lot better if he keeps on this journey, he keeps elevating his skills. But jumping back to, let's go ahead and jump into the final thoughts. So let's go ahead and jump into the whiteboard. Here at the very end, he mentioned the purple pill. And I see exactly where he's coming from, because the purple pill is a very, it makes a lot of rational sense, the purple pill. So let me share my white screen here and I'll just show you quickly a quick breakdown on these final thoughts. Put it on the board. Let's go to boom. All right, here we go. So bro, like if you adopt this mindset, it's not personal, it's strictly business. To anything, I promise you, man, life just gets easier, bro, because you're not taking anything personal. You're just doing what makes logical sense. Emotionally, you might have emotions do play a big part of the game, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you also have to really consider the logical perspective of things. But all right, so he mentions the purple pill. So he said that there's the red pill, and then there's the blue pill. Let's go put the red pill over here. Let's put the blue pill over here. And he says that, like, if they got together, had some sex, they would have that purple pill baby in the middle. So the purple pill would be in the middle. So it's taking elements of both of these pills. So let's go ahead and put a purple pill here. Let me see if I can see color. Yeah, so let's just say like the purple pill falls in here somewhere. So I agree with what he's saying here with the purple pill. I agree that you want to have like the best of both worlds, where you know how to treat the right woman right, then you can offer her the everything that you've accumulated, essentially. But so the biggest key takeaway here is not to pull from the blue pill or pull from the red pill. It's to, I think the biggest thing is to have, I think my perspective is to have more of a, and again, guys, like this is subject to change, bro. Like I'm not perfect either, man. Like things change, conditions change. But I think for the most part, what I've seen from my experience is that I think that the best position at where I'm currently at, I think the best position to be in is to have these red pill skills, like understand the red pill, understand what's happening in this world, understand this praxeology, like really understand what's going on. And once you have that understanding, then at this point, if you do happen to find a girl that you are really attracted to, that you can see yourself having a family, starting a legacy, if you get to that point, then at that point you can offer small tidbits of the blue pill into the relationship with her. But for the most part, what you want to be is you want to be maximized across the board. I think this is the best position that you have on the chessboard. Again, it's business, it's not personal. So you want to be maximized where you're in shape, sexually attractive. That would be probably number one. You can't escape that one, man. You want to have that because you're just gonna feel a lot more confident. People are just gonna respect you more. You're gonna move through life differently. And then number two is like you are financially in a great place, financially stable, secure. Have or are acquiring a high paying career. And then finally, the one that's often overlooked is you have frame. You have frame, meaning you have self love. Like self love, you have ideals that you stand by. Ideals, you have boundaries. You love yourself. Another thing that I'll throw in here is like you also know how to defend yourself. You develop fight skills, so you can defend your family. You can defend, anyone that you care about. You have a strong sense of purpose, a strong sense of who you are. So once you get to that point, if you have these three things in place, you're in shape, you're sexually attractive, you look good, financially stable, secure, have or acquiring a high level career, you're starting to make some good money, and then finally you have that frame, you're just in a way better position because now you can actually you can actually play, man. You're actually in the game, and a lot of women are just going to be more attracted to you, and also you're at a very stable place in your life, and this usually takes time. Like a lot of guys are not 18 and already in shape. A lot of guys might be out of shape, and it takes time to develop and get to that point where you're in shape, you look good, you're attractive. Also financially, this one probably takes longer, where you get into a career, you start to learn the ropes, and then you start to make money in that career. You start to elevate your skills, and then three, frame. This one, it also takes time because you have to learn who you are. You have to develop yourself as a man, and a lot of these things come when you get to your late 20s. In some cases, it might be your mid 20s, but it's rare that I've seen that, or early 30s. So this usually happens around this time frame. So it takes time, and that's just one thing that you have to understand. It's like this is going to take time, but if you understand these things right now, you're aware of the things that you will be facing in the future. So I think that the best position to be in is that once you maximize yourself with all of these attributes, where you're in shape. Let's go ahead and change this to red so we can just keep the same theme going. You're in shape. You're financially stable. Let me pull up a marker here. You're financially stable, and let's see. Where's the red? Whatever, dude. We'll just do a pink. That's fine. Pink it is. So pink. All right. So check this out. So you're in shape. Whatever. We'll just do pink. So this one here. So you're in shape. You're financially stable. Your frame and your self-love is on point. Shout out to my mentor MLD for teaching me all these things as well. But all these attributes are on point. You're feeding it into that, and I quote, red pill mindset. And what ends up happening is that you're just in a very stable position in your life now because you have these things across the board. You know who you are. Your money's on point. You're attractive. You're in shape. You can fight. And once you have that, you're just a different type of person, bro. Like you breed confidence because it takes a lot of hard work and discipline to get to this point. So, guys, let me get another camera just so we can wrap up this video. I think this battery here has been dying on me, or something's going on with this camera, but whatever. I got two cameras, so we'll continue this bad boy. This ain't stopping nothing. We're dropping some bombs here. We got to wrap this video right. All right. So let's see where we at. Change this stupid camera here to this camera. All right, guys. This view's it's all right, but whatever. As long as it gets the job done, we're good. So let's go back. All right, guys, we're back. This thing was acting stupid, but whatever. All right, so let's just wrap up this video. Man, I had another car I had to jump onto, but whatever. We got to wrap this video right. So, all right, so the last thing here, just so we can wrap up the vid. All right, so I think that once you get to this point where you have these things on point, everything is maximized, which, like we mentioned, it takes time to get here. This is probably going to take like, the late 20s, early 30s. In some cases, it might even be your late 30s. But once you get to this point, you have options, you have leverage, you have just the things just change at this point. And then if you come across a girl that you like, then you can start to maybe show some signs of the blue pill, of like showing her, love and some, having that, like that soft touch to it, which the blue pill talks a lot about. But don't overdo it. Like, know when to do it right. Know when to do it correctly. But don't get to the point that you're that blue pill guy again, like that nice guy, and you just let everything that you learned fall to pieces and you're back at square one again. You want to stay at this position where now you acquired these skills, you know who you are, you know what you're about. And now if that girl that you really love, that you really like, enjoy being around with, you're highly attracted to her, if she comes into your life, then you can share like certain moments of that blue pill ideology or that mindset. It's not gonna be all the time. Do it right. Like, just do it correctly. Come with like frame. Like, if you come with frame, she knows that you say that, but you only say it to her. She knows that you say it in a very masculine way. She's gonna be very attracted to that, and then she's gonna know that you don't just say that to like every girl. Like, you're really honest with her about that. Like, that's what you're not that you're really honest with her, but it's like you really like her so much that you're willing to be that soft person with. But there might be certain girls that you come across that they don't garner that same type of love, that same type of affection that the girl that you're really attracted to does. Because there's some girls, man, that like they have their own issues too, bro. And like, they're like my boy Jack was saying in the video, like, they're masculine, they're over masculine, they're disrespectful. Like, they don't deserve like for you to act any type of blue pill in any type of blue pill fashion. Like, you need to stay in your lane, let her do her thing, but you're not the guy for her, man. Like, you're gonna do your thing and keep leveling up. But these girls, like, if you do come across them, like, you don't want to be giving them this blue pill, like this version of blue pill to them. You want to keep this to yourself and keep that to the special girl that you're gonna meet. So then when you meet that special girl, like, that's when that purple pill is going to like overlap, right? You're still gonna have these things in place, and you're always going to keep this. You're not pretending here. Like, my boy Jack was mentioning this, like, that you're pretending to be this person, but it's like, no, bro, like, you're not pretending. You actually want to be this person because you come from a position of leverage. You have leverage. That's the key word on this point here with the red pill, is that you have leverage. Because if a girl doesn't want to stay in, like, she doesn't want to follow your frame, she doesn't want to follow your leadership, you know that you have options. You have these things checked across the board, which a lot of guys don't have. So now you come from that position of leverage. So you always want to maintain that. Don't lose. It's like if you had let's say you had $20 million, like, you don't want to lose those $20 million once you start dating a girl. You want to keep those $20 million there so you can keep your life optimized. And as proxy, your girl's life will be maximized as well. But you never lose that. You always want to maintain it or keep growing it. Keep excelling, keep growing. It never stops. The game never fucking stops. Like, you're always growing, you're always excelling. That's the whole point of life. That's the Kaizen principle, is to keep developing, keep evolving, become a stronger version of yourself. But if you meet that special girl that you like, that you're really attracted to, like, that's when you can start sharing like that blue pill mentality, like that blue pill mindset. You're not gonna give her like all the time you're this blue pill guy, but there's gonna be glimpses where she's gonna really feel that, and she's gonna really she's gonna really appreciate like the love that you have for her, because she reciprocates her love in a similar manner, and she might really show that she loves you, that she takes care of you when you're sick. She cooks for you. She has a lot of great attributes that come with being in a long-term relationship, or being married, or being in a relationship that you really want to progress and take to the next level. So she offers that. Like, that's when you can start showing like that side of you, that side of you that's still there. Like, it's always going to be there, because this is the first condition that you this is the first mindset that you had. This is the praxeology that you were kind of taught from a very early age. So it's still there. You know what it is. You see it all the time in movies. But this red pill mindset, this is the one that you have to develop. This is the big boy. This is the difficult one. This is the one that Tate always talks about in his videos, where it's like you're developing yourself as a man, and it takes time to get to this point, and it fucking hurts, because you're gonna take a lot of licks here. While you're trying to level up your career, you're trying to negotiate for a salary, you're trying to find the best career for you, while you're going through those interviews, all that process that comes with recruitment, or you're trying to start your own business. The business flops, you need to pivot. When you're going to the gym, you might miss a day, you're not as consistent, your discipline falls. Like, this is the difficult part. The red pill is the big part. But if you see the upside to this, is that you have leverage, and life will just be more fulfilled, because you're maximized, you're living in your purpose, and you have options, you have that leverage that we keep mentioning. So this is the big boy. You want to focus on that, leveling that up in your late teens, early 20s. And if it even takes you into your early 30s, that's completely fine. Just keep doing it. Like I said, this is a long-term game. This is a marathon, not a fucking sprint. So just keep going hard, keep putting in those reps in, keep working hard, and keep leveling yourself up. And once you meet that girl, it's like now you can show that side of you, right? Now you can show that softer side of you, and you can share that with her. But now you have this fucking kingdom with you that she's going to be more than happy to be part of. If you don't have this kingdom, that's when a lot of relationship problems start to come in, like when it comes to finances, and she starts to test you, and she starts to like throw jabs at you because of this thing and that thing. But if you're secure across the board, it just minimizes those risks of that happening. Now you're at a position where, like, okay, now you got the money, you got the house, you got the things, like the necessary resources that are essential to creating a family and passing on the legacy that we keep talking about. But yeah, guys, so this video went longer than expected, but guys, it's a very important video, because in previous videos I've talked about meat, which are the most important resources for everyone, which is money, energy, attention, and time. And if you don't understand these concepts that we talked about in this video, you're going to be spending a lot of those important resources incorrectly. You're going to be in positions where you might be spending too much money. You're going to the club, flexing, and then a girl goes with her ex-boyfriend. Or you're buying chocolates, you're buying flowers, and the girl doesn't even like you because you're the nice guy. So you're going to be spending that money. Energy, you're texting her, she's not texting you back. You go meet her up, and then she flakes on you. You're spending that energy. Attention, same thing, very correlated with energy. You're giving her attention, but she's not reciprocating that attention, and you're losing that attention where you could be focusing on yourself and leveling up your business or your gym gains or your fight skills. But instead, your attention's all like focused on what this girl is going to reply to you. And then finally, your time, which is the most important asset. You can't take back time anymore. You can't buy back time. So this is the one that you really have to take into consideration, because if you start to spend that money, energy, and attention, you're going to start to lose that time. And that's never coming back. And then you're going to find yourself at 29, 33, 34, late into the game, and you're finally trying to like work on your purpose and your mission. It just doesn't make sense at that point. So this video here, even though it took longer, even though we had a lot of technical difficulties with this camera here, I'm gonna start using the other camera, both cameras at the same time. And even though we covered a lot of topics, bro, like this video is life-changing, because you're gonna save so many headaches, man. You're gonna save so many headaches when it comes to dating, trust me, from my experience, bro, like this is what I've learned in this last decade of dating, bro. Like it's just I've learned so much just going through the motions, taking the licks, and if you take these key concepts and run with them, I promise, man, you're just gonna be optimized because now you're gonna have more discernment. You're gonna know exactly what to look for and not waste any of that meat, those important resources, money, energy, attention, and time. Focus that, level yourself up, get those gym gains, those gym gains. Fuck, getting sleepy, but get those gym gains, and bro, I promise you're just gonna get to another level. But there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop down your thoughts in the comments. Jack, if you're watching this video, shout out, man. Hopefully we do a collaboration in the future. Guys, if you haven't yet subbed to his channel, he has a lot of great content as well. I highly recommend his content. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let me know what you thought about this video. If you want me to make a further video explaining any of these concepts, let me know. Drop it down in the comments. At this point, you know, it's been a fun video, but it really reminds me of everything that I've seen, and I know it's gonna help out a lot of guys if you really implement these key concepts. But there you have it, guys. I hope everyone has a great night. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay strong, stay relentless, and keep on conquering. Shout out desde Colombia, su amigo, compadre, Jonathan. Peace.